Folks, one of the Tamil video viewers asked me an important question. The question is this: compare the state of Samadhi, as it is called in Hindu based yogic tradition, with the seventh chakra opening or seventh seal opening of my experiences, as well as the third eye opening and various visions that people have after opening the third eye. So that is what I thought I will share with you because this might be of interest to you also. In fact, one of the friends who recently subscribed to my channel seems to be interested in various kinds of samadhi states like nirvikalpa samadhi. I don't really know the exact way of pronouncing it. I think it is nirvikalpa samadhi, sahaja samadhi, and things like that. I'm not an expert on any of these topics. I never performed any meditation, leave alone this samadhi meditation. But I recently yesterday I read some documents in the internet so that I can compare that with my first spiritual experience and other experiences in order to answer that Tamil viewer's question. Now, what I understood, I may be wrong. If I'm wrong, please comment and correct me. What I read is that people sit down in a meditation and keep an object of meditation, either some kind of an idol, a physical idol, or some mental idol or conception of a statue or a light and meditate. At some point, it seems they merge with that object of the meditation, and that's what they call the pure I amness and so on. At that time, they feel very satisfied. Their mind is very calm and quiet, and so on. There are many such descriptions in the internet about samadhi. Now, what I'm going to discuss is the seventh chakra opening in my first spiritual experience when I was 31 years old. Probably some of you might have heard me saying that I was born in a village and I saw a lot of suffering around me. I also went through a lot of suffering in the village, which was in the southern part of India, around 1945, 50s, and so on. So I was interested in finding out what is the cause of all this suffering. And when I was doing my MTech thesis in computer science at IIT Mumbai, those of the folks who don't know about the Indian Institute, is one of the very famous technical schools in India at that time. Probably it is still a famous one of the famous IITs. There are other IITs too. So I was doing my MTech thesis in computer science, artificial intelligence at that time. I had a time to read some of the Hindu scriptures like Ramana Maharishi's experiences, Vivekananda's account of Ramakrishna Paramahamsa and so on. And I was trying to understand why human people are, why humans are suffering, and why God is not helping people. So I didn't find anything satisfying to me from those books. I was also reading J. Krishnamurti's books at that time, a few books, but he never talked about. He talked about human suffering, but not about the God and other things. So, and I never did any kind of samadhi meditation. There was no guru. I never read any book and performed samadhi meditation or any kind of meditation at that point. In fact, I had absolutely no background on yogas and things like that. Though I heard about such things, if you live in India, you hear about all those things, but I never had any details. My mind was more focused on technical side of knowledge, not the spiritual knowledge, and I was also getting some real scientific background by being among the people in Tata Institute of Fundamental Research in Bombay. And several Nobel laureates used to come there and give lectures and so on. So my mind was more on the partly technical, partly scientific side, never on the spiritual side, though it was my hobby to really try to understand why God is not helping human beings from their suffering. So, with that kind of background, I used to sit down in a dark room with a small night light in front of me, in the dark room, early morning, and used to just ask this God or whatever it is, if that is really true, come and teach me all about the God and so on. And one such day is I was just sitting there, and my whole body was totally frozen. It was so cold, and there was only this feeling of fire at the top of my head. And I didn't do any kind of meditation, samadhi meditation, or I didn't keep any of the object in front of me and so on. Just happened at some point when I was sitting. And then suddenly that the feeling of I also vanished, totally vanished. And I was not there, so I don't know how much, the feeling of I was not there, so I don't know how much time I was sitting in that situation. And all of a sudden, there was this anti-clockwise direction movement, extremely fast movement around the feeling of I-ness in somewhere here. And when that happened, normally people will be very scared, and there was no fear in me. And when that circulation, extreme rotation happened, the I-ness inside me, the feeling of I woke up. I didn't wake up physically. I didn't open my eyes. I still didn't have any feeling of my body. I was unable to think because several things happened so fast that I was not given any chance to think. My mind was arrested. All that I could do is to receive whatever happened, and see or receive whatever happened during that time. Now, you cannot call, I don't know whether you will call that state of myself in not knowing about me, or the feeling of I was not there as a samadhi state or not. I don't know, but I never attempted. This is my key point. I never attempted to bring myself to that state. It just happened on its own without any object being placed in front of me or doing any kind of effort to merge with that and so on, which I believe I read that the dhyana or the meditation techniques or samadhi people do that. Now, at that time, after the strong rotation, suddenly something opened and the top of my head, and this golden light entered into that hole. Not really a hole, it's not a physical body, it's a kind of something inside which I came to know later that it is called Sukshma Sarira or subtle body. So that golden light went inside and cleaned the whole of the Sukshma Sarira. At one point, I saw that body in front of me, that golden body in front of me. There are no eyes or legs or hands, just body, just some totally filled with that golden light, and outside that there was all darkness, everything was darkness. And that when golden light was entering through my body, there was total extreme joy. But when I saw that body in front of golden body in front of me, there was no joy. But when it came and merged with me, I had that joy. And then one of the voices in my mind, female voices, which has no form at that time, at any time, I never saw any form of that one. That said that it pointed to something in which I seemed to see that small leaf-like thing which was rooted at the seventh chakra, and that was kind of shivering like this. And that said, that's your mind, small part of it is left. As soon as she said that, that one vanished, totally died, temporarily at least. It just vanished. And that is the temporary death or the annihilation of the human mind. This is extremely important point, because as long as your human mind is there, you cannot really experience the seventh chakra opening and so on. So as soon as that vanished, then I was totally inside that golden light, experiencing extreme joy, which I never experienced in my life. So now to compare this seventh chakra opening with the samadhi state, there are a couple of things. One is that the samadhi meditation is human directed, mind directed activity. And the goal of that samadhi state is to be thoughtless, I believe, merging with that object of their meditation and being there. But compared to this, the seventh chakra opening happens without me doing any kind of meditation, without any kind of effort on my side. It just happened to me automatically that my body was totally frozen, and there was this ickiness in top of my head, which I never tried to take it there. It just happened to be there after the whole body was totally frozen, and and uh, and it just vanished automatically. I didn't try to wipe it out. It just vanished. I was not there at the time. At that time, this anti-clockwise circular movement, which I call later, I used to call it the Sudarshana Chakra, but you don't have to believe in that. But this anti-clockwise rotation, extreme rotation took place, and that is the gateway. Unless that happens, your seventh chakra cannot be open in my view. And for most of the folks that I have read recently, that Samadhi state is the end of all. That is the goal. That is the highest one can go. Excuse me. That is the human mind directed activity, but this the opening at the seventh chakra happens after the circular extreme fast rotation, and that cannot be the effort of the human mind, because that when that was started, the mind was not there. I was not there at all. So it just happened. That's why I keep saying that opening at the seventh chakra and the gateway, that this extreme rotation, anti-clockwise rotation, is under the control of an energy beyond the human mind. And for the human mind should vanish so that you can be in that golden light, immersed in that golden light totally. Before that leaf like human mind vanished, I was seeing this seventh chakra opening and the golden light like a flood going and cleaning my Sukshma body or subtle body. And even when I saw the subtle body in front of me, there was the darkness around me, around. But when that mind vanished, then I was totally one with that golden light, totally. So the human mind has to vanish so that you can enter into what I call the second universe of the kingdom of God, the second universe as compared to the world of humanity, where the human mind is one of the very powerful instruments in the human body through which people operate, either in the waking state or in the sleep state or in the deep sleep state. Now, this is the comparison, folks, between Samadhi state and the seventh chakra opening, in my view, based on my own spiritual experience. Now, going to this discussion of the third eye, I never experienced the third eye in my spiritual experiences. But there was some third eye experience of my own, but of a different kind. I want to compare that. What is really third eye vision is it's always associated with the mind. Mind, when it is excited or in extreme power, it has the power to generate some kind of vision in front of you when you are doing meditation, very much similar to the mind projecting the whole world during the dream. So even when you are doing the meditation, or even when you are not doing the meditation, there could be a vision, and that's projected by the mind. So when that mind has been excited by raising the kundalini, as people say, to that point, or by taking some kind of drugs and so on. Some of the siddhas, I was told that they take such drugs to have to excite the sixth chakra or the third eye chakra. Now, this vision is with respect to the human mind, but I had a third eye with respect to the divine mind, which I'm going to discuss. After my spiritual experience, the first spiritual experience, um, all other experiences happened to me without my seeking it, without my doing any dhyana or meditation. I will be just doing some household work, sitting in a sofa and so on, or walking down the staircase, or doing some work, office work, or playing with my cat and things like that, suddenly my mind will be arrested totally, and I will not have the power to think or have the power or have the feelings of my body. Then there will be total darkness all around me, and suddenly some vision will take in front of me. One such vision I reported in part one of my spiritual experiences, and it is this. And there was this, out of this total darkness, when I was looking at darkness, there were three united head, just like the, when you see this Brahma, Vishnu, Shiva, or the corresponding goddess deity in Hindu religion, that Lakshmi, Parvati, and Saraswati. So these three heads um, came out of this darkness, just appeared. It seems to looks like when I looked at the darkness, I was able to create those three heads, united heads. Yeah. They were all integrated, united with one another. And suddenly at that point, right from here, not from here, which is what people call the third eye, the human third eye. But this was somewhere from here, slightly above the human third eye, somewhere here at the center of my forehead. And from there, this golden light came. Usually, they say in Hindu tradition that Shiva has the power to send the golden light from his third eye. But they always say that that is to kill somebody. What happened that is, to me, my experience was not is that to give life to something. And when that golden light went and fell with the center of the three heads, it became the head of a beautiful, beautiful woman's head. And that one smiled at me so lovingly, and that for the first time I experienced the divine love. And the mind which was there at that time, from which was causing the golden light to come from here, is the divine mind according to my interpretation, because that mind only can produce the golden light from here. Not only that is the only one which has the power to create, to give life to that, otherwise just a figure in the darkness. Not only that, it had the power, that is, I had the power to create out of nothing, out of darkness, these three united heads. So that's why I call that the divine mind. The divine mind is nothing but the mind of the Vak or the word, the creator God, or whatever you want to call it. That's the one which is responsible for creating the three divine lights, as I described in the earlier videos, also in my three-part videos of my spiritual experiences. If you're interested, you can go and see them. Now, this is the comparison of the human third eye vision and the divine mind's third eye vision. Now, I want to also talk about, in general, the various energies in the chakras of the human body, and the divine lights which are surrounding the human body. The three divine lights are the golden light, the white light, and the red light. And, some Christian tradition calls us Holy Spirit and Son of Man, God, Christ, and the Father principle. The red light is called Father principle, And there are names for the Indian side, or from the Indian side also. Shiva is associated with the red light, golden light is associated with the Vishnu, and white light is associated with the Brahma, or the corresponding female deities are the Saraswati, Parvati, and Lakshmi. Now, it is this one, the walk, is associating itself with the white light. Has this what is called chit, the consciousness, and it is that has the power to generate the third eye. Now, those three divine lights compared to the energies in the six chakras, the ignorances that I've been talking about throughout my videos, in several videos, in the sixth chakra, they are called Asuras, Ashura Shakti in the Hindu tradition, or Satan in the Christian tradition, and also Western religions. Now, this is the one, these are the energies, the ignorances in these energies which is creating havoc in the world today, dividing people, fighting with one another, comparing with other people, trying to enslave the other people, kill the other people, and declaring that I am better than you and that kind of stuff. So, it is to destroy or to redirect these energies in appropriate way is the goal of the three divine lights surrounding the human body. I want to point out that also, folks. These are my comparison of the Samadhi state and the opening of the seventh chakra. And the key point is that it is the seventh chakra opening happens beyond the Samadhi state, and that cannot be done by the human being. There is a gateway which will prevent people entering into the opening of the seventh chakra, or entering the world, kingdom of God by this extreme rotation of the seventh chakra, something around that seventh chakra, and so on. The difference between the human third eye and the divine third eye is that the divine third eye has the power to create. Out of that comes the golden light. It has the power to create things, and compared to that, the human mind can only generate visions of its content. The human mind, as well as the mind of humanity, as I said, the mind of the humanity is connected to each human mind because they vibrate at the same frequency. So that's the difference between the human third eye and the divine's third eye. And also I was talking about the ignorance. The ignorance cannot be in those three divine lights which surround which surround the human body. The ignorances or satanic for energies are on in the six chakras. Folks, that's what I want to talk to you today. And if you have any question, let me know. I will try to answer them at the earliest time. Thank you, folks.